Are you interested in starting a foresight process? Your organization is thinking about the future. Well, I want to give you 5 things that can derail your process before it even starts. I'm trying to help you have a great process, but it depends on how you start. Hello, everyone. My name is Glen, Guyton, workforce futurist and strategist, helping you to navigate these wild, disruptive times. Are you interested in strategic foresight? Is your organization thinking about starting a process and you like, hey, what is foresight all about? How can a futurist help me? Those are good questions. But I want to make sure that when you start your process, that you start off on the right foot, because your process can go awry before it even starts. And I don't want you to spend tens of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours working on a process that ultimately is going to fail. So I just want to share with you 5 things that I've learned. I actually was just on a trip working on a futures project with a nonprofit organization, and just these 5 things really just came to my mind and say, okay, these are some things that we did well. These are some things that could have gone better. But I want to share with you 5 ways your foresight process can get derailed at the very beginning. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Let's get started. Number one, the first thing I think is asking the right question. So number one, framing matters. When you start your foresight process, you want to have a really good question. What is the problem that we are trying to solve? A friend of mine that had worked with me for a number of years, that's always his question to me. What problem are we trying to solve? And that's a biggie, right? Because if you start off heading in the wrong direction, you're going to end up in the wrong destination, or it's going to take you a long time to course correct. And so I think that we have to be clear that foresight is not like just a brainstorming tool. We're not just throwing these wild ideas out there, but we're really trying to come up with a plan. It's strategic foresight, not just wild guesses. That's not what we are doing. So we want to make sure that we're headed in the right direction. And sometimes you do get the question wrong. And through your research, through your scanning, through your interviews, you'll figure out, oh, there's really another process, another problem that we need to fix. And so be flexible. Be flexible. And make sure you have clarity around what you're trying to fix. And you sometimes, again, you discover that, okay, what we thought was the issue is not really the issue, or we don't have the degree of clarity that we needed when we started, but we have it now. So don't forget that. Next is make sure you have the right people in the process. Make sure you have decision makers, key stakeholders, people that may be on the leading edge of thinking. You're going to do some scanning as part of your process. You're going to look what's out there. You're going to look at all of the drivers from a number of different sources, and you need to have the right decision makers as part of your foresight process, but make sure they are the right decision makers, and maybe not always the official decision makers, but maybe there are some decision influencers that need to be a part of it. And make sure you don't have people that are just going to bog the process down. Now, you can have people that are disruptors, that think differently, think outside the box, that are really creative, but you don't want someone that's just going to stop the process. That's the mistake. So make sure you have the right people in the room when you do your planning, that you're getting the right voices when you're doing the interviews, and that your scanning is broad enough that you can really see the big picture of all the things that may be influencing your particular domain, the thing that you are focusing on. Now, The other thing that I think can happen is that we get a little safe. I'm not a safe futurist. Now we will have some different outcomes that we look at, but don't hire a futurist if you're just trying to be safe. Uh, Anyone can do planning or some kind of strategic initiatives, but if do you want to think about the future, right? You want to think big, you want to think broad. What are the possibilities? What are things going to look at for my organization in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 plus years? That's when you bring in a futurist. So think big, think big. Don't limit yourself. So I think that one of the things organizations do is that they avoid a couple of things. They avoid the real tensions. So don't avoid the real tensions that are happening in your workplace. Sometimes I think internal consultants get us bogged down into the current realities. We can't see outside of what we need to see, right? We can't see outside of ourselves, and we don't take into consideration all of the other factors that are impacting us. That's where I think a good futurist comes in. So explore the tensions. Don't avoid the tensions. Explore the tensions. These things that are really impacting our work, the multitude of factors. It's not just one thing. I promise you, it's not just one thing that's impacting whatever decision you're trying to make. And sometimes we get so narrowly focused that we only can see that one thing, right? We get this mono vision. We can't see the big picture. That's what I like about strategic foresight. We get to see the big picture. We get to see all of the drivers of change that are impacting our organization. So that's a good word of advice. Number 4, don't overcomplicate the process. Is it a complicated process? Yeah, maybe. But you're not, the goal of the process is not to make everyone a futurist. They don't have to understand everything. They don't have to read every book. Like I have a whole bunch of books here on Foresight and some other things, a bunch of books. I do the work. Other futurists do the work so that they can help you. So the goal of the process is not to get everyone to understand what it means to be a futurist or to be experts in strategic foresight. You don't want to get caught up in a whole bunch of jargon. You don't want to get caught up in too many frameworks. I like to say that clarity beats complexity over every time. All right, write that down. Clarity beats complexity every time. And so part of what you have to think about as you're planning, as you're working with your consultant is what works for my organization? What can we do? What is our level of expertise? And how can we best function? Like, how can we best function to get to the desired outcome? And a good foresight consultant will help you work through different scenarios, different ways, different methodologies to help you get to the desired outcome. But the outcome is not to make everyone an expert futurist. It's really to fix whatever that domain question that you have. All right. If people don't understand the process, they won't trust the output. And so bring people along, simplify it for them. The 5th thing I would say is you have to make the future feel real in a foresight process. Make good scenarios, tell good stories. All of that comes from your inputs, but it also comes from the people that you select, comes from your process. I think the beauty of foresight is painting this picture, right? Helping us see beyond what the now, to dream a little bit. So stretch yourself some in your foresight process. You don't have to go with a wild, crazy black swan future. That's not what I'm saying. We're not talking about the rise of the machines and technology is going to take over everything, but help people see the future. If people can't see it, they won't act. So the storytelling process is an important part of foresight. You got to have compelling stories so people know what they're dealing with. Sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's great, but story, narrative, lived experience, all these things play into scenarios that we hope will have that will have a real world impact that you can try to address, so that you will start figuring out how to address when you go through the implications of the scenarios and things that you've come up with. And so you as an organization will know how to, hey, this is where we want to focus. This is where we want to spend our time and energy. All right. So one of the things, at the end of the day, we want to make better decisions as leaders, right? So you need better input. Better input means better decision making. And that's the purpose of this strategic foresight process. You're not going to predict the future, right? But you're going to lean into what's possible, what's plausible. Where do we spend our time and energy? Yeah. And so we start painting this picture. So that's the return on an investment, right? You're really thinking through not only your internal issues, but you're thinking big picture, and you're looking at all of the other factors that could be impacting your organization. So think big. Just want to make sure that you avoid those 5 things when you are getting ready to start your process, because how you start something really matters. So make sure you have the right question. Make sure that you are picking the right people to be a part of your process. Don't avoid the real tensions. Make sure you don't overcomplicate the process, and don't fail to make the future feel real. Tell the story. All right. My name is Glen, Guyton, workforce futurist and strategist. Hey, you know what? I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.